Hey, you guys, let me ask you a question. You found the house, you're under contract, now what? Well, this is where deals go sideways, and I'll tell you what, most buyers have no idea what is coming. Welcome back to the Closing Room AZ. I'm your host, Jesse Moreno, realtor and investor and coach. And today we're going to wrap up one of the most important series. We've got part 3 of the Mortgage Blueprint with Jorge Montano from the Cross Country Mortgage. We covered the basics in part 1. We got deep into interest rates. We talked about that in part 2. And now it's time to talk about the stretch that separates the winners from the people from people that lose deals at the finish line. And these are people that are under contract. The clock is ticking. Here's everything you need to know, you guys, to get you to the closing table without blowing this deal up. So stick around because it's going to be great info. Again, hey, really quick, if you find value in my podcast, please make sure you guys hit subscribe. Click on that QR code. Make sure that you follow me. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. Drop me any comments, man. I'd love to hear what you got to say. And again, hit that QR code right there, and I'm here to assist. A big shout out to my sponsor of the day here, Driggs Title Agency. They've been around for a while, man. They've been around since 2007. They've done over 200,000 transactions. That's not just a number. That is a track record, man, for these guys. So they're a reliable company. If you want a smooth closing from contract to close, you got to reach out to these guys. You can always contact them at 602-796-2029. And you please make sure that you're asking for Ignacio Ochoa. He is the business development manager here at Driggs. Tell him that the Closing Room AZ sent you. All right. Well, welcome back to the finale with George Montano here from Cross Country Mortgage. George will he's gonna educate our audience, talk to us about the full blueprint of Mortgage 101. We're gonna finish strong in this conversation. He's gonna walk us through what happens from contract to sign. So, George, welcome back to the Closing Room AZ.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, man.
Fun.
It's been good. The last two episodes that we've done, man, a lot of information, pretty in depth. You got some great knowledge behind some of these products and some of this information, man. So I appreciate you sharing.
Absolutely,
man. I am glad that we are wrapping up this one here. I know it's, you've been with me for the last couple, and I think this one's going to be the one that's going to kick it off and say, man, here's the finale of what it all takes to be or to understand Mortgage 101, right? And what we're calling the blueprint, the final blueprint of this product here. So let's talk a little bit about the appraisal process, and make sure you guys are taking notes here because he's going to, again, Jorge's going to do his best to give you all this information. So, and it's going to be, it's not confusing, but if you're a first-time listener or you don't know much about real estate, it sounds confusing, but he's going to break it down, and it's going to make it easy for you guys to understand the process here. So we're going to talk about the appraisal process. What is an appraisal? Who orders it, right? And why does it matter for the lender?
Yeah. So matters for the lender because the lender's going to require that the collateral, they need to verify that it is worth what they're lending against, right? And who actually performs the appraisal. So this is going to be an independent appraiser that's going to have their opinion of the property based on comparables that are, recent sales in the area. So they would compare. So if you have, a 4-2 bedroom house that's 1,800 square feet, they're going to compare that to other homes that are 4-2, right, 1,800 square feet, to make sure that the home is up on the market for the value that it needs to be at.
Gotcha. An appraisal service, man, I got to tell you that it's also really important to utilize because they're going to give you the actual square footage. As a realtor, when I bring in my buyers to certain properties and the multiple listing service, they may say this property has a square footage of 2,000 square feet. But then we go see it, and it's a little bit different. It may not be 2,000 square feet. Yeah. But if we want an accurate square footage, the appraiser is the way to go. And, of course, it's going to give us the appraised value, and we're hoping that the appraised value is exactly what we're buying that property for. If anything, hopefully it's worth more.
Absolutely.
Right? But that's the importance of having the appraisal. Now, what happens, though, man, if the appraiser appraises the property below the purchase price?
Yeah, good question. The good thing is that we don't really run into this scenario a whole lot in Arizona. So it's a great thing, right? It means that, people like yourself, realtors, they are listing homes. where they need to be at. But it does happen, right? There is
Yeah.
time to time that we get those appraisal back, and we're like, oh, this is 20,000 under or whatever that number is, right? Um, the good thing about, I mean, I guess you could say the positive thing about that is that it doesn't mean that the deal is dead, right? It just means that maybe we need to restructure.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether the buyer has the money to make up the difference, or the seller is willing to lower that price, or maybe they come into an agreement where they go 50-50 on it, right? So if it's 20,000, they each go in 10,000, and still be able to close the transaction. So a low appraisal does not mean that the deal is done or dead. It just means that we probably need to renegotiate.
Yeah, for sure. Good point, dude. Absolutely right. A lot of people feel that, hey, if the value comes in lower, it's probably a dead deal, and it's not. It's time to negotiate. And everything's always negotiable in our business. As a realtor, that is our main job, is really to be an advocate, negotiator for our clients, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's a buyer or a seller, man, either way, our job as realtors and professionals in this business is to be an advocate for them and be the voice as we negotiate this deal. That's what they pay us for, man, for us to be the experts behind these transactions. So good point to that, man. What can buyers and sellers do to prepare for a smooth appraisal?
Yeah, good question. So, on the selling side, I think just having a home that's, presentable.
Yes.
I think that's, huge. I mean, you as a realtor, you probably show houses, and as soon as you walk in, within the first few seconds, you already know what kind of property you're going to be looking at, right? And it's all the little things, right? It could be like my wife, she says that when she walks into a property and she looks at baseboards, those are some of the things that she looks at.
Yeah.
So I think just kind of tidying up the home, make sure it looks clean, and just a lot of the smaller items or items that may come up on an inspection, right? So let's say there's a broken window. Maybe you want to address that before you list your home. You want the home. It's just like if you were to sell a car on Facebook Marketplace, right? You're not going to sell it with trash all over the floor, haven't washed it. It looks all dirty. Maybe it's a nice car once it's cleaned up, but nobody's going to want it when it's dirty, right? You want to kind of
clean it up.
Just clean it up.
Yeah, for sure.
So that that on the seller side, I think that's key. And then on the buying side, it's just being prepared that this is an opinion from an appraiser on what the value could come in at. So until we get the appraisal back, there's not a lot of info that we have just yet.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you what. Now this is my opinion. Again, this is me sharing from the agent point of view, right? If you're selling a property, if I have a listing and my seller's selling this property, I want to make sure that I'm telling them, hey, make sure before you even put it on the market that you're repairing things. Yeah, clean it up. It's presentable, right?
Yeah.
And when it's presentable, then they're not going to come at us with trying to negotiate a lower price and kind of push hard on that, right? If it's a move-in ready, looks great, then they know there's probably going to be some offers behind theirs, or there might be more other offers, and so they're not going to try to negotiate less than what it is, right? Yeah, man, fix things that need to get fixed. If you got a broken window, if you got loose handrails, if your AC has issues, things like that. Because at the same time, if there's ever an offer on your property, they're going to come in, they're going to do a home inspection anyways, and they're going to find something.
Anyway.
Yeah, so let's get it done beforehand so the house is presentable and it shows a lot easier, and we can move it a lot quicker to sell the property. From the buyer perspective, yeah, you're absolutely correct, dude. I mean, setting the expectations. Look, this is the appraiser. He's going to appraise it based on the information that he's obtaining around the area, the sales, the closed sales, even some pending active properties, comparable size-wise based on square footage, lot size, room count. I mean, there's a lot of different compensating factors to make it work, right? But as an agent working with the buyer, we have to set the expectation and say, hey, listen, the houses that I'm showing you, yeah, it's worth $500,000 because I looked at, as a professional realtor, I looked at the closings in the area to make sure it's worth $500,000. So if I make an offer on that property, I'm making it because I know that property's worth $500,000, right? If they're asking $500,000, but it's only worth $350,000, I'm telling my buyer, hey, listen, it's really worth $350,000. As much as you love this house and you want to submit it for whatever, make an offer for whatever it may be, it's really worth about this much because this is what's supporting comparable closings is what it's supporting. So it kind of works both ways, right? And that's great advice, dude. I agree with you on that, man. You gotta, make sure that sellers understand. Hey, clean up the property. And buyers don't, expectations here. Work with your agent. Let him tell you exactly
Yeah.
where it is, man, for sure. Right. All right. Underwriting, what it really means. We're going to type a little bit of that. So tell us a little bit about underwriting. What does it look like, and how long does it take when the deal goes into underwriting?
Yeah, so the deal goes into underwriting once my client has submitted all of their supporting documents. We
Okay.
talked about in the first episode about W-2 income earners, right? We need their pay stubs, their W-2s, their bank statements, 1099, their business tax returns, personal tax returns. So the whole list, right? Every situation is going to be different. But once I have all the documentation ready for underwriting to review it, that information is sent to the underwriter. So the underwriter is a person who is going to review the documents, make sure that we calculated all your income correctly, that we're giving you credit for all of your income, and make sure that it's an approvable deal.
Yeah. Perfect, man. All right. Timeline. Once it's an underwriting, we're trying to get to close. What's a timeline usually to get something to close?
Yeah, so I mean, for a close of escrow, we're looking at 20 to 30 days maybe to be
Okay.
able to close. The initial part of underwriting, when we submit the documents over, usually we get those back in about 5 business days or so.
Okay. So it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right. What about common mistakes or that could slow down the underwriting?
Not getting your documents in.
All right.
That's huge, and,
Yeah.
and we set the expectation, or I set the expectation from the beginning, what documents are going to be needed, and try and set timelines, right? Because I think without timelines, things seem to move a little bit slower. So that's something to keep in mind. As a buyer, the clock starts ticking the minute that you have given me the last document that I need in order to get it to underwriting. So we could have had this conversation a week ago, but I'm still waiting on your W-2s, or I'm still waiting on your pay stubs. The clock hasn't started ticking for underwriting to review the file because I don't have all the documents for them to review. If I was to send that information off to them, what's going to happen is they're going to shoot it back off to me and say, hey, we don't have everything needed. I can't make a decision on this, right? So it's important that, the expectation, what documents, and if you're confused about something, reach out to me and just ask me.
Yeah, for sure. Missing documents, and other things that could arise, title issues, right? I mean, I've seen that before. Employment verification, right?
Yeah.
When you guys are trying to verify employment, sometimes if you work for a company where the employment, your employer, it's not a big company, prepare your employer. Hey, you're going to get a call. They're going to verify my employment. Please help me out. Be attentive, do what you can. Because sometimes it's difficult. I've noticed that on my transactions where, man, we can't get, we can't verify employment or something like that just because they don't pick up or something. And the processors on that end, they're like,
They're frustrated.
Yeah, they're super frustrated. And they're like, Jesse, can you get involved, man? And I'm like, well, I'm just the realtor.
Yeah.
Let's get the lender involved.
Yeah, and sometimes like
Right?
you say, it's something as easy as like a verbal verification of employment, and
Yeah.
I sit across, some of my processors, and I hear them on the phone all the time, and it's just like a quick, hey, I just want to make sure that, Jesse Moreno is still, employed there. I just need a verbal. And yes, that call is done within 30 seconds. But like you said, there is times where maybe not even having the right phone number, right, for who we need to reach out to can make the difference.
All right. Now, I know this question I'm going to ask you, man, is a lot more so for operation side processors. I'm going to throw it at you. You've been in the game for a while, man, so you probably have some good experience behind that. But what does I'm going to use an acronym, and you tell me what it means. But what does CTC mean, right? And what happens on the closing date?
Yeah, good one. So CTC is what we all want to get. We all want to get that email saying CTC. What does that stand for? That means that the closing is now clear to close.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
now you get the clear to close. That means that you, as the buyer, you're getting keys, and we're all happy that the transaction went well. Means we all did our job, and we are going to have a successful closing.
All right. So CTC, clear to close, is what you want at the end,
Yes.
right? And usually that happens, a couple of days prior to the closing date?
Yeah, it will be like a few days prior to closing. Once we get that clear to close, then we can schedule for you as the buyer to go into title and sign your loan documents.
All right. Ask you the last question. We're going to wrap up here. We're going to close up, man. Final advice for someone thinking about buying a home right now.
Yeah, just speak to a professional always. I know we keep saying that, but it's the truth. Like there is a lot of information out there, now with social media, but there's also a lot of misinformation, right? There's all kinds of programs that are available to you, from down payment assistance, um, and the type of loans that you can qualify for. So I think it's important that you have a conversation with a professional, go over all of your financials so that I can see like your financial picture. Um, I can sit here and have a conversation with you and you can tell me how much money you make and credit score and all that. But until it actually all becomes real and we get your documentation, then we know what kind of options we have, right? So if you're somebody out there that's thinking about starting the home buying process and maybe it just seems like something that it, it becomes or it sounds scary, right? It sounds scary to have to talk to somebody about your financials and look at all the different options that are out there. It could get confusing too.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
with a lot of information out there, it could get confusing for some people to really understand what's going to be the best scenario for them. So I think, sitting down, having the conversation, and just knowing what your options are, right? And we sit down, we can go over, here's what option one looks like for you, here's option two, and this is what it looks like for you.
Yeah.
Which one do you think makes the most sense?
Okay. Cool, man. Good info, Della. I appreciate you, man. That's great information, and definitely reflects in your expertise in the mortgage business. So thank you so much for sharing that. That is going to be the wrap on the Mortgage Blueprint Part 3 episode. Again, this is the full playbook. It's all about the appraisal, the underwriting, the rules that protect your deal, you guys. It's how to get to the closing table clean, right? I mean, George delivered on us on this one. So what can I tell you? You just got some great education. You are ahead of the game compared to other people that don't know much about mortgages. And episode part one, part two, and this particular episode that we're doing now, there's just a lot of information. So you got to make sure you guys go back and listen to it and get more out of it because there's a lot of great information that he shared. In case you missed part 1 and 2, I'm telling you, you guys are missing some great information because George or Jorge here, he broke it down for us, man. So you guys need to check this out. All right. Stay tuned, you guys. We got more powerful series coming your direction here at the Closing Room AZ. We're going to be putting things together, new strategies. We're going to be talking to new people. They're going to fill you with a lot of education. And again, if you guys ever have or you have a certain topic you want me to deliver on, you let me know what it is. Hit me with the DM, and I'll get that topic going. You could always reach out to me. Best way to do it is that QR code that you see on your screen. Take a picture of it. I'm always looking out for any information or any comments you guys send my direction. Subscribe to my podcast channel, right? Hit like, leave me some comments, subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes that I put out there. We're always dropping something at least once a week. I'm putting out something new out there for you guys to just listen and get educated on. All my buyers, all my sellers, hey, make sure you guys that you know who you are. Make sure that you're sharing this information with your clients, with your customers, not your customers, but your family and friends, so that I could, help them out with any questions they may have. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Before we head out and we close it out and we wrap it up, Jorge, man, best way to reach you, best way to get out, make contact with you.
Yeah, best way is going to be my cell phone. It's 520-350-5090. A lot of zeros in there. We keep saying that. You guys are going to remember by this episode. You guys are going to know my phone number by heart. You can also reach me on Instagram at AZ Loan Officer Jorge. It's another way that you can reach out to me.
All right, brother. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Hey, you guys, this is the Closing Room AZ, where real conversations drive real results. Thank you for being here today, man. Truly appreciate you guys. Have a blessed week. And remember, set no limits. All right. Okay, thanks for hanging out, buddy.
Thank you.
All right.